channel. My name is Alex and this is the Lily Library. Today we are going to be doing a backlist book haul. All the titles that I have today I recently purchased secondhand and they are all over 10 years old apart from one. I wanted to highlight some older publications because I do feel like on BookTube specifically, book haul videos tend to be new releases, which I love because then I get to be introduced to new authors. But at the same time, I do love appreciating our backlist bangers, right? I did sort the books in order of publication date, and the first book that I have was published in 1998, and that is The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. So this story is told through the perspective of the wife of an evangelical Baptist who takes his family to the Congo in 1959. The story then spans over 3 decades in post-colonial Africa, and I love a saga. I love an epic, and then to have the story set in a tumultuous political landscape, I am in. I'm very excited to read this. The next novel that I have was published in 2002, and that is Ash Wednesday by Ethan Hawke. This has the remnants of an old bookstore that no longer exists. This is, I don't know if that focused at all. The bookstore was a Novel Idea bookstore. What a cute name. And it was at Westland Mall in Columbus, Ohio. So this novel is about a soldier who has gone AWOL to travel with his pregnant spouse, and they're going on an American cross-country road trip to get to her hometown so she can kind of face her past and prepare for their future together. I love a coming of age story, no matter how old the protagonist is. And I think the most intriguing thing to me is Ethan Hawke. I'm obsessed with Ethan Hawke. He is such a beautiful actor. I've never read any of his books before. I know he's written several novels, so I am excited to read this one. The next book that I have was also published in 2002, and that is The Crimson Petal and the White by Michael Faber. This is also an epic, as you can see. This book is dense, okay? Dense. It is 900 pages, so this is a commitment. The protagonist of this story is a prostitute in Victorian England, and it follows her ascension in kind of English society. You don't have to tell me anything else. With that kind of protagonist and that setting, I will read 900 pages. And that's it. I'll read 900 pages. The next book that I have was published in 2006, and that is Ophelia by Lisa Klein. This is a reimagining of Hamlet told through the perspective of Ophelia. You give me a complicated female narrator and I'm in. You really don't have to say anything else. I also love Hamlet, so this should be good. The next book that I have was published in 2007, and that is How to Talk to a Widower by Jonathan Tropper. I have read 2 of his novels. The first being The Book of Joe, which is about a writer who kind of writes a tell-all scathing portrayal of his hometown in the form of a novel, but then ends up moving back home and has to face all of the people he wrote about. Love that concept. The second book that I read by him was This Is Where I Leave You, which is about a family that comes together to sit Shiva when their father dies, and the absolute calamity and insanity that happens in that 7 days. This particular novel is about a widower who's only 29 who is trying to get back into the dating world and his misadventures in that, but also being a parent to his stepson who is only 17. His books are kind of the definition of a dramedy. I mean, they are very touching and heartfelt, but they're hilarious. I always laugh out loud, so I am thrilled to have this. The next novel that I have was published in 2008. It is by Pauline Francis, who also wrote Raven Queen. Raven Queen is one of my favorite YA historical fiction novels. It's about Lady Jane Grey, who is quite a tragic figure in British history. She's also known as the 9-Day Queen and was executed when she was only 17 years old. She was put into power by Edward VI and his cabinet. Edward VI was the son of the infamous Henry VIII. The tragedy was that she was used as a political tool of the Protestants, and specifically John Dudley, the Duke of Northumberland, who was the father of Guilford Dudley, who ended up marrying Lady Jane Grey. He wanted to be king, she made him a duke, which is honestly slay queen. It's a well-researched fact that Lady Jane Grey did not have aspirations to become a monarch. She was a very well-educated woman and very liked, but her dud of a family, the Dudleys, really fucked her over, and she ended up taking essentially the political fall for it. Her story is horrific, and I love how this novel is written with such respect and such grace. In this, Lady Jane Grey does have a love interest that comes before she is considered to be queen, and it is so beautiful, and it really highlights the struggle of the Protestants and the Catholics. It's an incredible novel, and I had to talk about it, but the book that I got was A World Away. This takes place in Plymouth, England, where a young Native American woman has been captured and taken there to kind of showcase to Queen Elizabeth I. She then meets a blacksmith, falls in love, and then comes back to her homeland. I have full faith in this author, and I believe that she is going to show colonialism in kind of the brutal way that it was, and not how it was portrayed to us in history books. The next book that I have was published in 2011, and that is The Maid by Kimberly Cutter. This is a novel about Joan of Arc. That's it. That's literally all I needed to know. I am in. I'm in. The next book was published in 2012, and it is Dead Stars by Bruce Wagner. This is hailed as being an examination on our obsession with pop culture, our idolization of celebrity. There is a blurb on the back that concerns me slightly, which is, Dead Stars is the London Fields of Los Angeles, the Ulysses of TMZ culture, an immersively literate, fearsome interior novel about people who are neither. And that was Tom Bissell of GQ. I think there's a fine line between satire and being pretentious, and this book may straddle it. I just want to make sure that this book doesn't punch down, which is a concern for me, but we'll see. I don't know. I haven't read it. I'm intrigued though. I'm intrigued enough that I picked it up. So the next novel that I have was published in 2013, and that is The Kingdom of Little Wounds by Suzanne Kokel. I know nothing about this book, but I will read you the blurb on the back because that is why I purchased it. On the eve of Princess Sophia's wedding, a shiver of darkness creeps through the palace halls. A mysterious illness plagues the royal family, threatening the lives of the throne's heirs. A courtier's wolfish hunger for the king's favor sets a devious plot in motion, and the fates of a seamstress and a nursemaid become irrevocably tangled. Hello! I know nothing else about the book, and I don't need to, because that was it. And the last book I have has been published within the last 10 years. It was published in 2018, and that is War and Peace, The End of Diplomacy and Decline of American Influence by Ronan Farrow. Ronan Farrow wrote a book called Catch and Kill, which was an expose on the wealthy and elite's strategy to catch and kill stories about them and their misconduct, their harassment, their sexual assault, and the web of lies that connects so many prominent figures. It was incredible. Ronan Farrow is incredible. And I didn't realize this was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. I'm very excited to read it. I'm quite nervous and scared to read it as well. That is the burden of being well-informed, is facing the reality of being well-informed. So that's it. That is my book haul. I will have another video coming out next week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.